me start by saying, do you think we have not really celebrated this man, Goodluck Jonathan, the way we should? And I ask that because not only is he being referred as the hero of democracy in this country and Africa today. Look at the recent election where the former footballer had to, George Well had to give in even before the election. Do you now if this is not coming from Bianca, a lot of us may not really take it seriously. But this is Ojukwu's wife, the closest person to Ojukwu. Again, 12 years after, bringing this to the fore, said this is a man that we owe a lot of gratitude. So do you think we have celebrated Goodluck Jonathan or positioned him well as we should as a people?
No, we have not. And I think, unfortunately, Nigerians seems to eulogize their leaders when they are gone than when they are alive. But here is a man who he broke the genes of what leadership is all about. Leadership is about service. It's about empathy. It's about sympathy. It's about humanity. And it's about fear of God. But I'm glad that it is coming from Mrs. Bianca Ojukwu, that such a man should be celebrated. Unfortunately, we have regionalized some of our leaders. But you see, when you take a good look at ex-President Jonathan now, he looks younger and fresher and more relaxed. Why? Because he's been celebrated globally, except in his own country. This man brought democracy to a point where we ought to have sustained. Man said, my ambition is not worth the blood of any Nigerian. But here is a country where people said they want to come and serve. They will kill, they will destroy with such brazen impunity. And some of them are there. We're seeing them. And so for me, President Goodluck Jonathan has set a precedent that it is yet to be filled by anybody, except probably those heroes past that we don't know much about. And I think she has set the ball rolling. And I expect even the Nigerian state itself to acknowledge and appreciate former President Goodluck Jonathan for what he did. Handing over power without going to court to fight anybody. And telling his followers not to go and shed any blood because it doesn't want it. And I'm happy President George Weah of Liberia has also demonstrated this. And that's the spirit. Because it's like a game, it's like sports.
Okay, let's look at the bits and pieces of this conversation. For a lot of young persons today, may not be aware that 12 years ago when Ojukwu passed on, besides taking care of his treatments, these are like little bit of humanity that this man Jonathan possessed that we never really had idea of. So besides taking care of Ojukwu, remember Ojukwu is an able man.
Yes.
So besides making sure that he was provided for his treatment and whatever he required before his passing, Goodluck Jonathan made sure that Ojukwu was celebrated in over 80 countries of the world.
It's there.
28 states in this country, they held a burial ceremony for this man. Now, this same Goodluck Jonathan, 12 years on, Bianca decides to say, this is the man we'll dedicate this to. Let's look at what Ojukwu stood for, the Biafra fight, and what it is today in Nigeria. Do you think that, again, but let me also ask for the sake of Ojukwu, who made sure he went around making peace in all of the places where the battle was high at the time to ensure that one Nigeria is sustained to a large extent. Ojukwu had passed on. Some people are taking off on his feet to say, we need Biafra. For everything Ojukwu fought until he passed on, to the state where the Biafra agitation is today, do you think that the Nigerian government have actually paid adequate attention to the cause of Biafra and what Ojukwu stood for?
No, I don't think so. I think former President Jonathan was the only one that had a national outlook in terms of his appointments and in terms of his governance. But Yar'Adua Jonathan era, after their era, what we have are nepotistic and regionalist presidents and several other appointees. What was the fight? What are the issues? The issues there is equity, fairness, and inclusion. That was what Ojukwu stood for, whether we like it or not. And it wasn't only for the Igbos themselves. The minorities in the south, in the north, in the west, were also, raising issues that they need to have inclusiveness in administration of both natural resources and the human resources as well. But unfortunately, those elites who felt that they are going to benefit from some of these issues now regionalize this matter, and then it now became, it's an Igbo affair or it's a Southeast affair. But it's rather unfortunate. But in Jonathan's era, they came, and they, Gowon in his wisdom said reconciliation, restoration and all that, and set up National Youth Service so that the younger generation that are coming will imbibe the spirit of nationalism. But all that has been defeated with the kind of administrations we have had within the past 12 years plus. And so, yes, the purpose has not been achieved, and that's why the agitations will continue.